What's up, guys? It's Brian from HashRare It's about 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time, January 22nd, 2018. We're coming to you with a brand new trading video. Tron and Ripple are the cryptocurrencies of this video. But first, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, upvote, resteam, all greatly appreciated. We see some people are moving over or also signing up on our Steemit page and on our Ripple and on our Ripple page, on our DTube page. All greatly appreciated. We're trying to expand that out, that following there too. So let's get right into it here. This is Tron, and Tron should actually have the name of its coin changed to Triangle. It is one of the most triangle happy currencies I've seen. Or really anything that trades in a long time. So, I mean, we've had triangles back here and another triangle. I'm not going to rehash that stuff. But what I am going to start rehashing is this right here. And where we last left off with you guys, I believe we had drawn this blue line right here, and then this bottom blue line was drawn, but it ended right here, and we had thought that this would have been the end of the triangle, but the triangle continued to move out further. And one of the cool things about triangles is that sometimes when you have like a bottom that's like so strong like this, that when if the triangle is actually larger than what you think it is, usually that bottom stays the same. A lot of times that bottom stays the same. So, you know, here obviously when we made this larger triangle right here, we didn't know, we didn't have this other data point right here. So we had drawn this right here, and actually it wasn't so bad, because when you think about it, you know, when the triangle ended, there was a change in direction. You know, here it's kind of just meandering, and then boom on that candle. And then here, you know, when it was ending, boom, it went up. And then as the days or the hours went on, we said, oh, wait a second, something else is going on here, because this looks all too familiar like the top of a triangle. And oh, wait a second, it corresponds to here. So we draw this line here. Okay, and then as it starts coming down, we already had this bottom line in, so we're like, I wouldn't be surprised if the market adheres directly to this line here. And that's exactly what it did. And then the market trickled along, and then we had a shot up, and the market then sold off again. And we thought maybe this shot up was maybe the beginning of a larger motive wave, but when it came back down, it appears that it's not. And again, this is all Bitcoin's fault. So you guys can blame all of this on Bitcoin. I've said it many times before, but you know, the Bitcoin is the big behemoth that pushes around all of the other coins. I know I've said it many times before, but there was even a comment recently that somebody saying that I should caveat all of this with that, and I guess I did not make myself clear enough, but that is the case. So what we see now is we see another triangle, a smaller triangle, right? So, you know, these are like all fractals to a certain extent. You know, what I'll say is that basically this here is a fractal of this. It's a smaller version of this right here, and you see that a lot in trading, and you see it a ton in particular within cryptos. So, you know, one of the things I'd like to see is the fractals getting larger and larger, but at the same time, it may not be such a bad thing. So one of the reasons why I like to see the fractals getting larger and larger is because then it's indicating bigger and bigger moves. So you can even see there was a little triangle right here. Okay, I mean, there's a little triangle right here, and there was another one, you know, here. Okay. I mean, you can call this a triangle. You can also call this a zigzag, or a bearish, a bullish flag. Keep making that mistake lately. I don't know why, but so yeah. So you see this smaller one here, and you see what happened with this triangle, how it ran up drastically. Okay, and then we just got triangle, 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 triangle. This leads me to believe a different train of thought. What this leads me to believe, and in my experience, what I've seen when this happens is this is extremely bullish. Extremely bullish. What the coin is doing is and this is Tron BTC. This is Tron BTC pair. I like looking at this pair better. You know, there's a Tron USD pair, I guess you can look at too. I tend to like this one better. But what it looks like to me is that that Tron is buying time. It's actually no reason for it to say. This is the way I read into it. It's telling to me, Brian, there's no reason for me to sell off, so I can only go sideways because Bitcoin, the big behemoth in the industry, is not going up. So if I can't sell off significantly, I can only go sideways because I need to put something on the chart in order to traverse time. So that's what it leads to tell me. So it'll be interesting to see when this little triangle right here ends. What do we get? What I would love to see is that we begin a motive wave. And what we want to see for a motive wave, and a motive wave is what identifies, is one of the major things that you need to identify that a correction is over. You need that. And so what I would like to see is something that says, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. You have to have something like that. If you don't, then there's a problem. If it looks like something more like a 3 wave, it's really not a beginning of a bearish wave, of a new bullish trend. So what do we think will happen if we do get this? I do think that the price will move up to, again, this is in Bitcoin, so it's 000022. So 4 zeros and a 2, and a 22. So, you can translate that into any US dollar you like, but this is what, or euro, or whatever it is that you like, whatever coin that you're trading, or whatever pair that you're trading. But that's what I believe will happen, and then this will become a much larger portion. This will become a small portion of a much larger trend up. So that's what we see. What's going on with Tron? The other coin we're going to take a look at. Oh, this is another thing I wanted to mention. Sorry. Is that, look at this. Okay. Here it wasn't so great, but it wasn't so perfect, or as perfect as I like, but you do have, generally overall, you have volume is going down. Now here with these, it's a little nicer. You see it a little nicer. And then even with this small one, this baby triangle, I'll call it. Thank God they're sleeping. But for those that watch me a lot, you'll know what that means. You'll see that this is even nicer. So these are pretty good looking triangles. I like them. I like them a lot. And I'm hoping that there's not another one. I hope this thing moves up. And I will blame it on Bitcoin. And if anybody hasn't seen our Bitcoin video today, go ahead and take a look at it. You'll see what this whole, again, I'll call it hornet's nest of support and resistance lines. I think that was actually the title of that video. But go ahead and take a look at it. This here right here is kind of looking kind of 5 wave-ish. What that means is it may be a little bit more to run, and if we do, it may come down here. So market did stop here pretty nicely. So maybe it won't pierce through Maybe it won't pierce through, but you could make a case of this being 5 waves and this thing being over, and then it's going to run up again, or you can make a case that it's not 5 waves and it needs to go down. So this is not about Bitcoin, but I wanted to show you about it. So we do need Bitcoin to go up. When Bitcoin goes up, we're going to have a good day on Tron, and probably most other coins as well too. So let's go ahead and take a look at Ripple. And Ripple, we had gone through all this before. I'm calling this like a zigzag, or a bullish flag, a very large bullish flag, or just a channel type correction. You can call it a lot of different things. To me, it all is bullish. You can also call it an ABC correction, but I don't like calling it that. It just doesn't look very good. This would be A, B, or B, and then C. But I don't like that as much as the other ones, so that's why I'm calling it what I'm calling it. So what do we have here? It looks to me that we have 5 waves coming out of that correction. And to me, what that tells me is that's a motive wave. And if that's a motive wave, then that's a beginning of a larger trend. In other words, a reversal of trend. So this is how we go through the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think when we left off the last video, we were somewhere here. Somewhere sort of some sideways correction. Not really going to label it. There's really no reason to. A lot of times these sideways corrections, they're not A, B, C, D, E's, or not even ABCs. You can have an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. It can go on for a long time. So, but here, in particular, what we have is something similar. It's almost like an expanding triangle. And it does not necessarily mean that it's over the way I'm counting it, but I am counting it as an A, B, C, D, E. If that's the case, then this is going up if this is all true. Now, what gives me the confidence of calling this an A, B, C, D, E here is because I believe this is 5 waves up. And if this is 5 waves up and then we have a sideways correction and then we have another correction coming down, then I think that this has corrected fairly sufficiently for there to be a run up. And what makes me think it's corrected fairly sufficiently? The bottom of this here is kind of like the beginning third movement of the third wave. And that's a pretty significant pullback. It could pull back further, don't get me wrong, but it's a pretty significant pullback on such a neat and pretty orderly sell-off. This is you gotta you could only draw this neater. You know what I mean? So possibly this is an end here to all of this. And again, in a similar fashion that we were talking about Tron, is that I think Ripple's another one of these things that's really going to shoot up. I think it's super bullish. So I think in order for it to just wait around and twiddle its thumbs, it's kind of got to go sideways. And that's exactly what it did. It went sideways. There's a few other patterns here I could draw, but I'm not going to start drawing crazy stuff like I am on Bitcoin, but because Bitcoin is really the big behemoth, so you really want to exercise most of your efforts there. But yeah, hopefully this is a beginning here, and what we're gonna get is something that looks like this. If this is, come on, we'll get something that looks like that. So we'll have another run up, we'll have, some sort of correction that comes down. What we want to be careful is that this 2 does not breach the top here, right? So maybe we should get a nice, I should probably draw this a little bit higher, because that's what we really would like to see. The 2, when it corrects, is going to be something like this. Okay. So that's what we're seeing right now. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to mention right off the bat. Nope, nothing just yet. So if you guys have any questions, let us know. Subscribe, notification bell, upvote, and re-steam. All greatly appreciated. Happy trading, and speak to you guys soon.